Why think about film? While I am able to sit and watch a film and just enjoy it for its story or the spectacle of it, I also enjoy digging in deeper and trying to explore what I've just seen. For me, what we see on screen is the culmination of a series of deliberate choices made by the filmmaker. They've chosen to show us this specific series of images in this specific way, and I've always found it interesting to try and wonder about the why of that. At university, the weekly reading assigned for one of my classes was How Cinematography Creates Meaning in Happy Together by Kathy Greenhalgh, a chapter from the book Style and Meaning. Although the chapter focused on cinematography in a single sequence from a single film, Happy Together, it made me consider the reasons we think about film as a whole. Part of the chapter is dedicated to an examination of 3 successive sequences totaling around 4 minutes, with the technique and content of each shot broken down and analysed using various acronyms such as CU for close-up, OV for over-shoulder shot, and W for wide angle, among others, with a description of each shot ranging from a single sentence to a paragraph detailing the action and techniques such as focus, camera movement and framing. For example, Shot 5, HHWMCU, camera tracks in, steps in, to high angle behind Lai's overlit head as Ho's furry cardigan wipes frame right to left. Lai is both vulnerable and defiant, back turned to camera. The analysis deals with 35 separate shots and unfolds over the course of 7 pages. It's not the analysis itself or what's happening in this particular film that led me to think about film more generally, but instead it was thinking about the sheer amount of planning that went into the shots for this 4-minute stretch of Happy Together, and by extension the number of choices that must be made in any given shot in any film. Multiply this by the total amount of shots in a film and you can imagine the almost overwhelming number of choices made in filmmaking, each choice reasoned and made by the filmmaker who, we would assume, puts some degree of thought into each one. But what kind of choices do filmmakers make? Well, for example, what size should a shot be? A long shot? Medium? Close-up? Extreme close-up? What about angles? Which angle should be used? A low angle? A high angle? Dutch angle? Over the shoulder? Point of view? Should the camera stay still and static? If it moves, how should it move? Should it pan? Zoom? A tracking shot? With Steadicam? This is just a small selection of the options available to a filmmaker, and that's before we even think about things like costume, set design, sound, music or editing. Everything we see on screen is there for a reason. Not just what we see but also how we see it, and that is why it makes sense to me to think about film, to try and uncover the intentions behind the choices made. Those intentions can range from the artistic to the fiscal and anywhere in between. Films and filmmakers are giving us things to unpack and to think about. Personally, I'm more than happy to try and oblige them.